CBS presents this program in color.
I wanna live and let live. I want all the love this life has to give.
To Tell the Truth is proud to present composer, singer, author of 14 songs which have sold over 1 million records, one of the top figures in country music today, John D. Loudermilk.
Now I'd like to introduce to you the finest little old church organ player that Durham, North Carolina's First Baptist Church ever did produce. She's also the wife of our 3 little boys, Johnny, Ricky, and Mike. Let's make welcome my lovely wife, Gwen.
Is this Gwen Loudermilk? Is this Gwen Loudermilk? Or is this John Loudermilk's wife, Gwen? Well, we'll soon find out as they try to fool this panel. Bert Convy, sitting in for Peggy Cass, Dr. Joyce Brothers, Orson Bean, Giddy Carlisle, plus 100 people in our studio audience on To Tell the Truth. This portion of To Tell the Truth is brought to you by French's Mustard. And now here's our host on To Tell the Truth, Bud Collier.
Thank you very much. Welcome once again to Tell the Truth. Good afternoon, panel.
Good afternoon, Bud.
Well, it's time to start the first part of our game by questioning country music composer and singer John D. Loudermilk. And we'll start with Orson Bean. Orson?
Thank you. Now, what's the biggest selling record or the best known song that's ever been recorded that you wrote?
Well, I wrote Abilene and Talk Back Trembling Lips.
Oh, I love that. Johnny Tillotson did that, didn't
Yes,
he?
right.
Okay, that's my question.
Kitty.
I'd like to ask you a question. I hope you don't take it badly. I mean it very, very complimentarily. Most of the country singers we've had on our show are dressed in the fashion of country singers, I suspect. Now, you're not. Why is that?
Well, I have rhinestone underwear on. I know what you're talking about. And some country singers do wear rhinestones, and this goes way back to the early the bullfighter uniforms that came over from Spain and through Mexico. So that's just a brief history of the rhinestones. However, some of us wear them and some of us don't, you know.
Bert Convy.
Boy, that's class, isn't it? Let me ask you, who would be your favorite vocalist in this field? Maybe someone that your wife would know, that's your favorite.
Loretta Lynn, I think, is probably the finest country singer that's going right now.
She was on our show. She's marvelous.
Yes.
Joyce Brothers.
She's ethnic, by the way, and she's real, period.
Why are most of the songs so sad?
Because most of the people are sad. That's right.
Orson.
Because they're human, and everybody, everyday people normally do. If you don't wear a $100 suit, sometimes you're sad.
Yeah,
Orson.
True. Sometimes you get a $100 seat and then you're even sadder because you find out you ain't happy.
You find out you can't afford it.
Do you have any trouble with your wife? Like, does she steal your celluloid pics and use them for cutting cheesecakes or anything like that?
No, I have no problem with her. We try to keep our business and private life fairly well separated.
Did you love her? Oh, excuse me, I'm in a hurry. Did you, forgive me, I'm over anxious.
You have to leave before the show's over?
No, I'm just
And you've
over
got a pretty
anxious.
flower, too.
Thank you. Oh, you are a dear man. Did you adore
Bert
your
Convy.
wife?
You're sharp.
John, I'd like to know where, did you meet your wife in church, or did that come later?
Yes, I met her in church.
But she was playing and you were...
That's all we have time for right now. The first part of the game is over. You've learned a little something about John and his wife. We'll ask the ladies now to come in from their soundproof room. All right, panel, let's see if you can find out which of these ladies is married to John D. Loudermilk. And we'll start the questioning with Bert Convy.
Thank you, Bud. Number 3, what were the circumstances that you met your husband under? Or in?
I was a church organist, and he sang in the church choir.
I see. Number 1, What kind of a singer was he in those days?
A very good one. He was a tenor.
But he's not a tenor now, is he?
No, he doesn't do much now.
I see. Number two, how do you account for the change in his voice?
I don't think it's changed. I think it's just a very slight change in the last 10 years.
Thank you.
Joyce Brothers.
Number 3, would your husband prefer that you dress conservatively or up to the fashion?
I think conservatively.
Number 1, how late will he play? Will he practice? How late at night?
Well, sometimes pretty late. It depends on what he's working on at the time.
No hours, in other words.
Off and on, like all artists.
Orson.
Tell me what you can see in this Rorschach test, sir. Would you do? Number 2, let me ask this of number 1. Do you love his music, or would you love his music even if you didn't love him? Or?
I'm afraid I would have to answer yes to that.
You would love it anyway, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Number 3, now, I don't know if we found out if you have any kids, do you?
Yes, we do.
How many?
3.
Number 2, do any of them have musical talent?
We don't know yet. The oldest is 10, and we have instruments around the house, but...
How about himself here? Does he sing in a bathtub and hit a high
Yes.
note and break the toothpaste cup? Or?
He's always happy and always smiling. Yeah.
Kitty.
Number 1, do you know what kind of underwear your husband wears?
Kitty, she has to wash it.
Number 2, was it love at first sight?
No, it wasn't.
Oh, it wasn't. What did you think when you first saw him?
I admired him, and I thought he was a very good songwriter and singer, but it wasn't love at first sight.
That's it. That's all the time you have for gleaning information, so mark your ballots, if you will. And while you're voting, it's time for our studio audience to vote. Audience, when I say vote, please select number 1, number 2, or number 3. Are you ready? Vote! All right, let's see how our panel voted. All marked? Bert, for whom did you vote?
Well, I think number 2 wasn't too crazy about him when she first met him. Number 1 doesn't have any accent at all. Neither does number 2, as a matter of fact. So I think that's maybe a trick. But number 3 has that North Carolina sound. So that's why I voted for him.
Joyce?
Most couples like to balance each other out, and where the husband goes in for, well, the kind of glasses that Mr. Loudermilk is wearing, he would prefer his wife to be on the conservative side. I went for number 3.
Number 3. Orson?
That's a ridiculous reason. But I went for number 3, too. I think they could have been any of them. They're fine girls, but I had to go for number 3.
Oh, it has the...
Has a few rhinestones on it. Yes. My cousin Abner had a terrible case of rhinestones. He had them removed. It was, fortunately, he had the Blue Cross. Thank you.
Kitty Carlisle.
Well, I think it's probably number 3, too, but I voted for number 1. I had to vote for her because I asked her that terrible question about the underwear.
All right, let's find out who got the most votes from our studio audience. Our audience voted for... Ooh, close. Number 3, but by only 2 votes over number 1. All right, John, please show us which one, in truth, is your wife, Gwen.
Well, let me see here. She don't smell like it. She don't taste like it. But it's this one right here.
Thank you very much. John, do I understand correctly that you are essentially a city boy?
Yes.
How did you wind up in country music?
Well, if you're from the South and play guitar, you wind up as a country singer most of the times.
Almost.
But yes, I cut my teeth on country music. Listened to the Grand Ole Opry, and all when I was a kid.
Well, you certainly do well by it, and it deserves to do well by you.
Thank you.
Much happiness to you both, and continued success. Number 1, what is your real name, and what do you really do?
My real name is Margie Jones, and I'm a freelance graphic designer.
And number 2, what is your real name, and what do you do?
My name is Cherise Summers. I'm a secretary at the Guggenheim Museum.
Well, in checking the score, we find that there was only 1 incorrect vote. Kitty gave you that one, and that still is worth $100 to you, and we thank you very much for gracing our show and being with us, and hope you had as good a time as we did. Goodbye, and God bless you. Now, our next guest on To Tell the Truth won 2 awards as a playwright and 2 as a New York City policeman. We'll meet him in just 60 seconds.